everyone. I am Matt Williamson. How are you? I hope everyone had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Enough of that nonsense, though. It's time to get into game week. We got the Falcons coming up, going to Atlanta. And I'm going to introduce you a little bit to kind of a matchup overview on these teams, some general stuff, some interesting things that I've dug up. So the Falcons last year were 7-10, third place in the NFC South. Pittsburgh was 10-7, third place in the AFC North. Just shows you the differences in the divisions. Steelers were outscored by 20 points, while Atlanta was outscored by 52. Pittsburgh finished the 2024 season on a 3-game winning streak and were 5-3 away from home during the regular season. Only 4 teams had a better road record than the Steelers. The Falcons were 5-3 at home, but they lost their final 2 games of the 2023 season. The Steelers have an 81.1 winning percentage, 9-2 in one-score games. That's 8 points or less. That was the best in the league. Cleveland was second at .75 winning percentage, one-score games. And for his career, Mike Tomlin is at .615 winning percentage in such games, the best in the NFL. We've talked about that a lot. I mean, it's kind of their formula. Keep it close, win a tough one in the end. Pittsburgh was 8-5 against teams that ended up with a winning record last year. Pittsburgh's plus 11 turnover differential was better than every team except the Ravens and Giants. The Texans were the only team with fewer turnovers than the Steelers. Over the past 2 seasons, the Steelers are 17-4 in games in which they did not throw an interception. In 2023, that record was 9-2. Only 3 teams threw fewer interceptions than Pittsburgh. That's probably going to change, but Wilson's pretty good at protecting the football, through the air in particular. Meanwhile, Atlanta's minus 12 turnover differential was only better than the Commanders last season. The Falcons' defense 8 interceptions was only more than Tennessee and Green Bay. The Falcons' 17 interceptions thrown were 7th most. So, very different seasons for these teams. I mean, as you can tell, it's pretty drastic. And I know that this season's different than last, but these are still a lot of the same players. This episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline is every stat, every matchup, and then even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. If you think you know your stuff, get in on the winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool. When the game's over, head to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, all caps, and get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. Over the past 3 seasons, the Steelers are 28-7 when they won or tied the turnover battle. I've told you this before, but over those 3 seasons when they've lost the turnover battle, 0-15-1. It's a huge reason Justin Fields is not going to be in there anytime soon. The Steelers produced 20 more rushing first downs than their opponents last season, but 33 fewer passing first downs. Pittsburgh's opponents threw for 10 more touchdowns than the Steelers last year as well, but the Steelers had 7 more rushing scores than what they have allowed. Hopefully you can keep the rushing stuff the same and narrow the margin a little in the passing department. Time of possession. Pittsburgh and Atlanta finished 20 and 23rd respectively in time of possession last year. But the Steelers were the 5th best time of possession team on the road at 31 minutes and 19 seconds. The Steelers were also plus 11 in sack differential last year. That's a very telling stat, and more so than you would think. I don't want to get into a big diatribe about sack differential, but a lot of it's because you're playing with a lead, not in the Steelers' case. You would also hope the protection's a little better. but these Steeler quarterbacks take sacks. I mean, if you told me that they were plus 11 in sack differential again, I think I would take it, even though I think they're going to have more sacks this year than last. So how about this? Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins, they were drafted 75th and 102nd, respectively, in the 2012 draft. Wilson has played in 188 games, has completed 64.7% of his career passes for a 7.7-yard average, and 334 touchdowns versus 106 interceptions. Wilson has thrown for 43,653 yards in his career, and that's 19th all time. Cousins, on the other hand, has played in 150 games. He's completed just under 67% of his throws for a 7.6 average, a 270 to 110 touchdown to interception ratio, and he's thrown for 39,471 yards, which is 24th all time. Sort of similar careers. One of them's done much better in the postseason in big games, but Cousins has narrowed that gap over the last couple of years quite a bit. Same draft class. 22 of the 53 players at final roster cuts on August 27th were not with the Steelers in 2023. Last season, Mike Tomlin broke a tie with Bill Cowher for the most 10-plus win seasons by a Steelers head coach. 2023 was Tomlin's 10th such campaign. I know you guys I know a lot of you like to give Tomlin a rough time of things, but if you win 10 games in 10 seasons on 10 different times in your career, it's pretty darn good. I have a couple special team nuggets here, and then we'll wrap this thing up. We're going to dig into the offenses and defenses as the week goes on. Short week, obviously, with Labor Day, too. But, okay, Miles Killebrew's 13 special teams tackles plus assists was the second most in the NFL last year. It's hard to get special teams tackles. 13 is not this massive blow-you-away number, but only one guy had more. Pretty impressive. The Steelers' gross average punt yards of 44 yards was only better than New Orleans, and Presley Harvin's 43.8-yard average was only better than 2 of the 37 qualified punters. Yuck. Cameron Johnson's net average ranked 4th, while Harvin's ranked 32nd. Wow, big difference. The Steelers were one of just 4 teams that didn't miss a kick attempt between 50 and 60 yards. Atlanta was only 50% on those attempts. Lastly, not super exciting, but Pittsburgh and Atlanta each missed just 1 extra point all last year. And it'll be Koo and Boz back again. 2 good kickers in a dome, of course. So it's time for you to start thinking Steelers, Falcons. I'm digging into it heavy. Going to dig into really offensive and defensive matchups here in the next 24 hours or so, and bringing a lot of that information your way, as well as a prediction at the end of the week. So good stuff. Psyched to be into the regular season. Before you know it, we're going to be watching a game Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Great stuff. All right, guys, take care.